So, Randy, it is 2024, not the off season, but maybe the second season, if you will, as we look at changing the calendar and getting into next year's season. Before we look forward, let's look back. Your appraisal on the 2023 season, if you could give it a letter grade, it would be what?
Yeah, to be honest, I think it was an A in both on the field, and it was an A off the field, which is how I think about our business. It was we had a phenomenal year. At 51 points scored per game. The emergence of some really young, talented quarterbacks. The level of competitiveness across the league was very high. We've seen teams that were doing some struggling, start to show some signs of recovery. Teams that are up and comers, some talent that emerged that I think is exciting for their future. So on the field, I would give us an A. And of course, yeah. The season ended in that one of the great Grey Cup games of all time, and watching Montreal win the way they did, I think you can't help but feel great about our game, and so appreciative of our coaches and players for helping to put what I think is a truly fun, fast, and entertaining brand of football in the marketplace. So that was good. And then off the field, I'm scoring it an A because of all the success we had in almost every category. And our TV ratings were up significantly. Really importantly, in that 25 to 54 category, which is the one that everyone seems to care about the most, up 34% last year. That's probably one of the most significant improvements in sports history. We saw, general attendance. I look at the playoffs, what's happened in BC, Toronto, Montreal, attendance success, just across almost everything that we measure, we saw significant improvement. So I think we had a really good year. It set a foundation for the future for us, which is the important thing. But as I was reminded when I met with the governors in December, now we have to do something with it. And we have to turn all of that momentum into long-term success. And that's what we're focused on.
I remember talking to you when you took the job, and one of the key principles was you wanted to do things in pencil, not pen. Given the success of last year, as you look forward to improvements, to tweaks, where do you see some opportunities for further growth in 2024?
We're going to, as we do every year, and led by Greg Dick and his football operations team, we're going to look at the game. We're out of big changes. We're certainly probably do some changes around the fringes. Real focus on player safety. What other changes can we make there? So that's a kind of a constant area for review and hopefully some enhancements that'll really help us. Off the field is a focus on execution. That's really where we are now. It's not so much changing what we're doing. In fact, it's not. It's really focusing on taking the foundation that we've created, our off the field strategies relating to our marketable fan program, and now is to execute to make sure that we're getting the maximum benefits from all of the investments that the owners have made in our business over the past several seasons. So I'm thinking for us, it's not so much, Donovan, about making changes as it is now about executing against the plan that's been proven and well in place.
Schedule is something that people look forward to, and that's out. Obviously, we're going to have free agency coming up. As we look forward to 2024, is there a specific aspect to the upcoming season that really excites you?
Yeah, there is. Well, just look at talking about this season, the business season, if I can call it that. Going to Winnipeg for the combine. The Bombers, to Wade Miller's credit, to the Mike O'Shea, to Kyle Walters, what they've done in Winnipeg is really special. To go to Winnipeg, have Winnipeg host the combine, I think is going to be fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, it's a trip home for me as well, which I always enjoy. That's important. I'm looking forward to free agency, looking forward to the draft. Always one of the best parts of this job is being able to call the names of these great Canadian players who will be future stars in our league. So I'm looking forward to that. And then when you start to think about the season itself, the Grey Cup rematch in week 1, I think that's going to be a real special game for us. Certainly, there's lots of matchups, as we know, looking back at our history. There's lots of matchups. You're always looking forward to Canada Day, as an example. You're looking forward to Labor Day. But this year, going to Victoria is going to be, I think, a real, it's going to be an exciting thing to be part of. And a shout out to Amar Doman and Dwayne Vanneau for putting up their hand and wanting to do that. I was there in December for the announcement. There's incredible enthusiasm in that market to see a CFL game in Victoria. So that's an event I'm looking forward to. And then, of course, going to BC Place for Grey Cup this year. We haven't been to BC Place. It's going to be 10 years. And really looking forward to, being back in that beautiful building and that phenomenal market. And now, based on what Amar and Dwayne and Coach Campbell and the whole organization have done there, it's going to be an exciting city for the CFL to descend on and be part of that community in November this year. So again, I could go on and on, Donovan. I don't think you want me to. I'm looking forward to getting into 2024. There's lots to look forward to.
Expansion is always a conversation that people want constant updates on. Is there a tangible one in terms of potential expansion in the Maritimes or even in Quebec?
It is a priority for me. It's a priority that I've been, it's not of my own making. This is a priority that our governors have asked me to embrace, and I certainly have. I really believe there's an opportunity for expansion. Look, we're certainly not giving up on Atlantic Canada, not by any stretch. But at some point, you have to, say, okay, look, we've kind of done all that we can do, and I hope that Atlantic Canadians and certainly Atlantic Canadian sports fans would say, we've shown a lot of love to that region. I've made it clear that we would like to be there. I think that the region now has to find a way to pull us in, if in fact that's part of our destiny. If it's not there, we are talking about building a plan to have a conversation in other markets. Certainly one market that everyone thinks about is Quebec City, with all of the success they've had in sports in general, the success they've had with the Rouge et Or. There's a great football culture in Quebec City. One of the strongest amateur football communities in all of Canada is in Quebec City. Lots of reasons to like it as a market, but we're going to take there's a carpenter's expression. I think you call it a carpenter's axiom: measure twice and cut once. So we're going to take a measure twice and cut once approach, and then when at the appropriate time, have conversations there. We're also, Donovan, having conversations with other markets who have put up their hand and asked us about the possibility of bringing our touchdown game to other markets. So I've had 2 unsolicited conversations from Canadian cities that have said, hey, how about us for touchdown games? So that's exciting as well, and something that I'm looking forward to pursuing.
It's an exciting time in sport in Canada, and you look at the marketplace across the board. Sports is growing, and you're not just obviously a fan of football, you're a fan of sport. You look at what's happening with the PWHL and the fan bases that have shown in markets that are also CFL markets. If you had a piece of advice, given the way you've grown the game, to Jana Hefford and her team, what would it be?
Oh, I'm not sure that I'm in the advice-giving business, Donovan. Look, I think that like us, I think one of the things that they have done really well is they know what they are. And so for us, as you know, one of the things we've been now very proud to talk about is this identity of fun, fast, and entertaining. This is our competitive advantage. In the world of football, we are fun, we are fast, and we are entertaining. In fact, I think I can proudly say, based on this past season and our history, funnest, fastest, and most entertaining brand of football in the world. We should be proud of that. I think what they've done is they are very proud of what they have, and that they will use that as the foundation on which everything else is built. I'd say, if I was giving any advice, like I think about what we're doing, is understand who you are and focus on using that as the key driver of your long-term success. And I'm quite sure that they're going to have great success.
Well said. And lastly, you mentioned fun, fast, entertaining. One thing is it's also the fans' game, and we see great debate and conversation on the rules of the game and how unique they are and great they are. And one that we've seen debate over by different stakeholders is the ability to have a live onside kick, if you will, which Montreal used to great benefit. I won't necessarily ask you if you have a preference either way on that rule. If you don't, you'd be the only one, as it was somewhat divisive. But what do you make of the spirited conversation around the uniqueness of our game and maybe ways to make sure that it's always fun, fast, and entertaining?
Yeah, I think it's an important part of what we are. Look, there's Donovan, going back to our brand identity. There's really two sides to it. Reason to watch. Reason to watch is fun, fast, and entertaining. Reason to care is our connection to community, and that connection to community is the connection to, to the cities that we play in, the connection to our fans, and the fans have a voice, a strong and important voice in our game, and they'll have a strong and important voice in our future. We should always care about that. That's fun. That's one of the things that makes us truly unique and special, is the accessibility that our fans feel as it relates to their ability to connect with us, their ability to connect with our players and with our teams. That's really important. Look, on this point, I think, it's going to come up in Rules Committee this year. There'll be a conversation. One of the things that Greg Dick has done really well is he's really engaged with our, with the football community within the league, with our GMs and coaches. And, Greg's done a really good job of facilitating conversations with them on important issues. And I'm, leaving that in his hands to talk about that rule and other, potential rule, investigations. They'll talk it through, and in the end, they'll make a recommendation that ultimately has to go to the Board of Governors to be approved. So it's a good process. It's actually a fun part of the off season, is to kind of say, look, we know we've got something great. Just the evidence of what's been happening in our game and how entertaining our product is. There's always a desire to kind of put that next little piece in place that even takes us one step further, a step in the right direction. I like that. I think it's a fun part of the business season, the off season, as some might call it. And I'm looking forward to letting that play out. And I think it'll be good. And the fans should definitely be involved. And you are absolutely right. I ain't getting involved in which way I would vote on that, because first of all, I don't get a vote on it. And secondly, I don't want to put myself in harm's way.
Well, I think either way, you're in harm's way, because if it's a rule that everyone likes, then great job, Rules Committee. And if it's a rule that no one likes, well, what did you do, Randy Ambrosie? Is your fault, Commissioner. So either way, we love the fact that the fans are engaged, even in the business season, as you say, at this time of year. Thanks so much for spending some of the time with us.
Donovan, it's always great to see you. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to CFL fans from across the country and frankly around the world. We have something special. I think if there's a thought that I entered 2024 with, is I think it's time for a little CFL swagger, a little more CFL swagger, recognizing that what we've got is special, what the history on which we base our future is special. And I'm excited about our future, and a big shout out to our governors who have invested heavily in the league and invested heavily in our future. And I'm excited about working with them to take the league to the next level.